Welcome back. You're still on Fine Tune, and my guest is Sanjay Hazarika. Sanjay, moving on to onto certain contemporary issues. What do you think about the Maoists making inroads in Northeast? Recently, if you hear reports, there were a number of leaders who were caught in Assam, in Meghalaya, trying to set up their base in the Northeast. I mean, how do you see it?
I think it's another of these progressions of movements, people's movements, campaigns, that people are still not as satisfied with the treatment they're getting, the access to services that they have, the opportunities that are given to them or are with them, and they're looking for other opportunities which can enable these processes, the political process, to be more sensitive to them. And I think in a situation like that, because the other groups have not really failed to deliver anything, all the insurgent groups, what have they delivered at the end of the day? Have they brought you freedom? Have they brought you freedom from want? Have they brought you better wages?
They have not. They have not.
So if that hasn't happened, these people come in and say that we'll work in the villages, we'll increase your understanding of Assam.
In fact, they were coming to some Khasi villages in Meghalaya.
Well, this is the pattern they follow all across.
Yeah, basically mix with the people, anti-poor movement, and finally, make it
pro movement, anti-government, anti-rich. So I think it's a matter of concern, and I think it will be foolish of us to think that government will know how to deal with it, because often government is always groping. It's ad hoc, it's knee-jerk, doesn't plan ahead. So those who are concerned about these issues will have to continue to think and suggest and talk and write and engage with each other, and perhaps with the groups close to the Maoists, on how this can be tackled and addressed.
Right.
Because it's always a question of basic issues. If people don't receive their basic entitlements, if at the end of 60 odd years you're not getting a daily a day's work properly, you're not getting a full quota of food, nutrition, your children are not safe, or they don't have access to health or to education,
this is bound to come.
These kind of issues will come up. So
true. Sanjay,
non-security issues become security problems. This is a transition.
Sanjay, I always wanted to know from you one issue. Last time also when I met you, I thought I'll ask you. Everyone seems to be talking about look-east policy. What is this look-east policy? I mean, you hear so much about look-east policy. Everyone comes and look-east policy is coming up. But what is it? What is happening? I mean, let's hear from you.
Well, my take on that is that it's a good idea. It's just that it took a long time for the government of India to realize that the Northeast has to be part of this process. It's basically a government of India policy. It's not specific to the Northeast. It's only in the last 10-15 years that the Northeast has been
involved,
added on or become part of this. And if the idea is to connect to the surging economies of Southeast Asia, Malaysia, Thailand, Singapore, and certainly Vietnam. We cannot forget that there is a large country called Myanmar, Burma in between, which is at the same level of growth as we are in the Northeast, or even less. So, and trade largely across the world moves large volumes of trade by ship, not by road or railways. So that will continue to be a factor. But I have this one thing, that if we have a look-east policy, we haven't made much of an, I travel to Southeast Asia and people ask me, what is this? How does it help us?
The way I was asking,
Yeah, and people are aware that there are disturbances in the Northeast. So they ask, is it safe to bring people and investments into the region? Will I get my money back? Will my capital, the capital invested, will get my... And in all this, people are also aware of the fact, and I stress that you have the army and the security forces in large deployments. Now, if you want people to come and invest, you're not going to surround yourself with security. I mean, not the companies which invest, but the people in all the states, and say that it's safe for you to invest here. When you look around, you see, that the army is there or the paramilitary are there in very large number.
Sanjay, another thing is that we used to always
and you have the Armed Forces Special Powers. So, if you have Armed Forces Special Powers, how do you expect people to actually invest?
So it needs to be,
So there are several reasons for tackling the Armed Forces Special Powers Act, and that one of the reasons is if the Lookie's policy is to work.
Right. Sanjay, Northeast, we used to always take pride in gender equality. I mean, wherever you say, but the recent incidents which has happened, you know about it, the one which happened in Guwahati, Tripura, in Meghalaya, a number of incidents has happened. It has really put our head in shame. I mean, how do you see it, you being a person from this region and now staying in Delhi and mainstream India?
Well, I think there are a number of factors here. I think these sort of problems have always been there under the surface. Assam, Manipur have among the highest ratios of child abuse. Meghalaya has a very high domestic abuse record.
And Tripura also.
Tripura, I believe so. You have problems, a tragic problem of trafficking from different parts of the Northeast. So all these things are picking up, and these are also increasingly happening because of an unstable political and security environment. People have nightmares that they have not dealt with for decades, So when you are dealing with this, something happens.
This is an issue to be concerned about. And on that note, we'll take a short commercial break. And when we come back, we'll talk to Sanjay about his life, his future plans. So please don't go away.